The Mansion, Part 1, September 1976. Visions of a cash and carry haunted house operation dance through my uncle's dilated pupils as he drives up the rutted road toward a charred mini-mansion, a burned-out structure of Gothic ruin. Stir-crazy kids pour out the back of the van into the first floor, a wild and strewn disaster, as if the rainstorm that had just passed had personally ransacked the place looking for something inside. On the second floor, halfway down the hall from the blackened stairwell, my honey-haired cousin Anne, a precocious 11 years old and 2 years older than me to the day, pulls me into one of the cindered rooms and teaches me how to French kiss slowly. The Bible tells us this is wrong. But I love that she wants us to pull our pants down and feel our buzzing, sensitive parts nuzzle against each other while our tongues wrestle madly. And then her brother Alan catches us, puts his hands over his mouth and runs out. Alan, who is essentially my best friend, who I read and sweep comic books with. Anne and I pull up our pants and walk out wondering how much trouble we are in. October 1976. I watch a movie about someone burning up in their house because they fall asleep while smoking cigarettes in bed. Mom is a 2-pack-a-day user, and at least one of those packs gets consumed entirely in her bedroom. I start to lose sleep staying up all night watching as much TV as I can because I know my mom smokes cigarettes in bed at night. I make sure to keep going in and checking on her to make sure she is not on fire. I always bring a small plastic bucket of water just in case. December 1976. When she's able to get out of bed, she goes for long drives at night, taking me to Denny's while she has conversations that last hours and hours into the early morning with long-haired Jesus freaks sporting beards. I get to eat pancakes for dinner, but Denny's never gives enough syrup out. The freaks tell her Jesus isn't uptight about weed or bras or all this fake artificial society. She quotes them John Lennon. I believe everything till it's disproved. So I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as they are here and now? The freaks really dig this. They also seem to really dig her. They tell her Jesus is okay with John Lennon and Sweet Baby James, even with a few joints and cigarettes here and there. Johnny is my mother's favorite Beatle, of course. She was a sucker for impassioned idealists, something John Lennon shared with my dad, Jesus, and eventually her son. They give her a copy of Good News for Modern Man and invite her to come hang out at their collective house. Thankfully, she never does this, but I'm always sleepy and late to school, and my teachers hate me, and I hate them. The Mansion, Part 2, September 1976. The rain returns. Everyone starts back to my uncle's van, but Mom is missing, and I begin to feel a cold, hollow burn between my heart and bosom. I call out her name on the first floor to no avail. On the second floor, I scream, Mom! Wondering if she saw my cousin and I being naughty, and after anxiously checking each ominous room, I ascend to the third floor, trembling, with the foreshadowing that she has somehow left me forever. I can hear my family outside the mansion calling out her name, Joellen! I yell again on the third floor and still get no answer. I check each room where the center portion of the roof is gone, its ashen beams and shingles resembling the mouth of a dragon whose teeth have been smashed by its own tail. The rainfall intensifying and soaking me through the gaping maw. In the very last room on the very last floor, I finally find her staring at the graffiti on the wall. Mom. She doesn't respond. I go up to her. Mom! She finally speaks. Devil worshippers lived here. I look at the wall to see if I can see what she sees, but she refuses to take her eyes off of, but I see no obvious signs of evil. I don't understand the images and words spray-painted on the ruined, ashen walls. I look back at her, rainwater dripping down her cheeks. Young women died here, she says. I tug at her arm. Mom, we have to go. We're leaving now. We need to leave now, Mom, okay, please? She turns and starts to come with my pull, and when we get to the stairs, there is Alan, waiting. March 1977. Puberty starts to kick in. Images of Farrah Fawcett and other celebrity sex symbols get me to touching myself. Mom catches me and snaps. Smack! She delivers a full open palm smack to the face, stinging and stunned. I'm confused, unsure what is happening. Why were you just sending messages to the devil? I wasn't! Smack! Don't lie to me, Michael. I heard you talking to Joni Mitchell and John Lennon, asking the devil to contact you. I don't even know who Joni Mitchell is. I barely know John Lennon as a Beatle. I am unfamiliar with the terms schizophrenia or clinical depression. When I come out of my room the next day, I beg her forgiveness and swear I didn't know I was talking to Satan, that I didn't mean to, and I promise I'll never do it again if she helps me. You have to accept Jesus, Michael. She forgives me and takes me out to McDonald's and buys me an apple pie. Things are good again. Rinse and repeat this ritual on a weekly basis as often as she can get herself out of bed. April 1977. Mom pretty much stays in bed all day, every day now, except getting up at night sometimes to go to the Mickey D's, Denny's, the Taco Bell. Otherwise, she's in bed. I stopped going to 4th grade because I hate it and everyone there. Within 3 days, CPS comes and places me in a foster home where I live for 3 months before my biological father comes up from California to take me back to live with him for the next 10 years. I don't see my mom for over a year. The Mansion, Part 3, September 1976. When we get to the stairs, there's Alan waiting. I wonder if he's going to say anything. Suddenly, the stair beneath his right foot gives way, and he screams as he starts to plunge down, but he's able to grab onto a barely stable handrail. And with the arm not holding my mom, I'm able to help pull him out of the hole. He then helps me step over this hazard, and then in turn helps me help my mom go across it. We continue gingerly in this manner, holding hands, but no more than one person per step at the same time. We finally make it back to the van, the rest of my cousins imploring, "Come on, hurry up!" And my uncle is cracking open a fresh can of Coors before getting ready to hit the road, an enormous, self-satisfied grin on his features. Alan gives me a look, and I know he won't say a word. For this, I will love him forever, even after he becomes a woman named Karen 20 years later, driving a cab in Bremerton and strung out on meth. I don't notice at the time, but we never swapped comics again. December 8th, 1980. Howard Cosell announces on Monday Night Football that his friend John Lennon has just been assassinated. December 22nd, 1980. Visiting my mom for the last time as she lay tethered to IVs in a feeding tube, twin cancers in her lung and thyroid having their last feast on her cell tissue. I don't know now if I should tell her about John, but I do. Her eyes grow wide. Her poor crucified head suddenly lifts off of the pillow, fitfully, looking straight at me with shock and expression with what was left of her awareness. Through her feeding tube, I quietly hear a muffled, "Really?" It's the last conversation I have with her. December 25th, 1980. She passes early morning. Boxing Day 2015. I dream she meets Johnny in the Bardot, the waiting room for the next phase of existence. I dream they're still together now, like they could be soulmates after all, where she could be his Yoko Ono of the threshold realm, or in the next life, in that place in all of our minds where everything really does exist.